Alright fellas, here we're back with our Pokemon Masters video. I did forget that Academy Iris and Gladion dropped at the same time, and I also accidentally did Iris's a day early. Oops. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Academy Gladion now, see how good he is, see what he can do. I think he's pretty good, for sure. The big thing though is that he's a striker, is like striker characters. I'm not gonna say they tend to be less valuable, but honestly, at the same time, may as well just say that because a bad or worse or whatever striker can be made up for with better supportive characters or utility characters, oftentimes. So it's like Gladion's not valuable in the sense that, you know, he does a lot. He's valuable in the sense he's a striker, mostly for the normal type, or at least let's look at normal type strikers. Let's actually take a look at that. Yeah, it's a little rough. Palmer's good, but Palmer's got a glaring flaw of this. The smaller enemy HP, the less damage he does, which is pretty awful, and it gets to be pretty bad pretty early on. So Gladion does not have that problem because he's a Hyper Beamer. Very, very simple. So Porygon-Z Pokemon been very good Pokemon to get in the game by this point, honestly. Alongside Gladion, another Gladion ult, sure. It's fair enough though. It's fair enough. He hasn't gotten anything. He hadn't gotten anything before his Master Fair, pretty much. So it's fine to get one now. But anyway, regardless, he's got himself the Special Strike roll with the Tech EX roll. Very basic combination, but quite effective too. At level 150 and 6-star EX, he has 486 special attack, 800 HP, 184 defense, 196 special defense, 173 speed. Solid stats all over. I mean, the special attack is the best one you want, and that is very good. Tech gives him over 500 special attack, gives him some more HP, defenses, and speed. Pretty much all stats. Or yeah, speed doesn't benefit from Tech, but still the other stats as well. Better bulk stats, and of course, level 180's increase is going to be nuts for him. 572 special attack, 222 defense, 240 special defense, nearly 1,000 HP, and with level 200, if you do invest in him that far, over 1,000 HP, over 600 special attack, over 450 speed, over 256 over 250 special defense, 234 defense. He's got good stats. I mean, it's going to take a while to get adjusted to that level 200 increase for a lot of these characters and see like what stats are good. By the way, without going too much into like Gladion's abilities, it's if you just want a good striker, like Gladion is a good character to go for, but a good striker can very easily be supplemented for most people. But if you're trying to do like the normal Paseo Tower, he's pretty much a must run. I mean, there's not really much else to say there. He's pretty much a required character if you want to get any high ranking or higher ranking. So just want to mention that. Anyway, he's got Hyper Beam as a main damaging move at 3 out of 5. That is 245 power. We know how how Hyper Beam works. Yeah, it's good. Recover, you're not going to use this, but it is here. We'll go into why in a bit. And then Hyper Beam Z. It's a 2-gauge move at 330 power, hits all enemies, never misses. It's activated when the team uses their sync move, deactivated when used. It's one of those once per sync cycle sync moves. Gotta love them. Never misses. The power is not lowered if there are multiple targets. Reduces sync countdown by 1, applies free moves next, and increases special moves on next by 2. Very good effects. AoE damage, non-split. It's going to have guaranteed crits because of the trainer move, which gives sync countdown, special attack, and crit buffs. Obviously good. And then he's also getting -1 sync countdown, some gauge help because of his big gauge usage with Hyper Beam, and 2 special moves up next buffs. That's very appreciated for sure. He's going to be doing some pretty good damage. We'll say that. At least off base, he's got some good damage potential. In his lucky skill here, his passive skills, he's got Memory Emulator. Changes the type of the user's move to that of a single target's weakness when the user attacks with Hyper Beam Z. Yeah, so this is guaranteed to be on type for whatever enemy it is directly targeting. I believe the way that this works is if you've got multiple types of enemies, let's say you got an electric, a fighting, and a bug enemy. If you are targeting the middle, which would be that fighting enemy, the move will be fighting, and it'll hit for fighting damage across all enemies. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So you won't be doing like electric, fighting, and bug for each enemy. You'll be hitting for whatever enemy you are currently targeting, whatever type that is. Obviously, that's good. I mean, the problem with that is that it's not going to be buffed by any sort of zone because you're very unlikely to actually going to. you're pretty unlikely to run him under a specific zone that is going to buff the type that he's hitting for. I believe this isn't buffed by normal zone. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I am, because that would be a very substantial difference in this character's kit. But if he's hitting for, again, if we go to that example, fighting type, you're unlikely to be running him with like a fighting zone center or something. Like, you're probably not running him with Kieran. You're probably not running him with Aura Cynthia. You know, all those characters, right? You're probably going to be running him just by himself with probably normal type allies in order to like buff his normal type damage, like normal zone setters and whatever else. Like Larry's not a bad example, just to put it out there. So this is a very good ability, but do note it's probably going to be not buffed by its weather terrain or zone effect unless you're specifically building for it. Though again, at the same time, I could also be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's how it works though. He's also got Attack Program, which powers up Hyper Beam by 50%, and it has guaranteed hits on Hyper Beam. This is, I mean, it doesn't apply to Hyper Beam Z, but it's already got never miss accuracy, so it does not care for accuracy checks. Now the same thing is with Hyper Beam. Stages like to do those accuracy debuff gimmicks, gets rid of that stuff, and he's got just a raw 50% buff on his regular Hyper Beam. That's pretty damn good. I must say, that's pretty damn good. And then Recovery Program. Half HP, Recover MP, and HP Recovery 5 reduces MP for the user's recover by 1 and restores HP by 50% of the max when its HP drops to half or below. That's why you'll never use Recover, because he automatically does the healing for you. They have been building more characters like this lately that will automatically restore, or like automatically do HP healing or whatever. Like, I believe Silver is one that they've done that for, Neo Champion Silver, where you just don't even ever use Recover, he just heals by himself. They're doing the same thing with Gladion here. And then he's got, if his HP is above half, he has an extra 90% worth of sync multipliers on his sync move. So you just want him to stay above half. Again, he's got 2 uses of recover. He starts at full HP, unless you have the stadium parameter, but that's not what we're talking about, right? So that's going to be giving him a lot of chances to have above 50% HP, which is just a free multiplier for his sync move here. And of course, with him having the Tech EX roll, he's going to have a lot of multipliers on, or a lot of base power, and then that 90% multiplier on this move as well. So it's going to be hitting pretty hard. I will say Gladion's current major weakness is the fact that Normal's not very cohesive. At least I wouldn't say so. I could be wrong. I mean, like, Elaine's a good all general use support, but she's not specifically great for Normal. Like, she can work for Normal and still be effective, but it's just that she does it for like most teams, right? She works pretty well under a lot of teams. She doesn't provide any specific, unless I'm wrong. Yeah, she doesn't provide any specific enhancement just for the normal typing. So she's a good support just in general, right? I believe Whitney is obviously Jim Whitney is obviously a support that is dedicated for the normal typing, but she's also free. She does a 20% support, so I got 20% support here for team normal moves. She's able to set normal zone on the sync move. She's got herself a circle. Like, those are good buffs for sure, but also how far is Whitney really gonna make it in a fight? We'll see. But she, for now, honestly, she might just end up being like one of the better supports to potentially run. I don't think this guy does anything crazy for normal specifically. I'm pretty sure he's just one of those fun lodge supports. Ilima. Ilima does do normal zone stuff with normal wish and whatnot. Pretty sure he's kind of undertuned though. I'm just saying pretty sure because I really don't know. Yeah, okay, team 50% same moves. Okay, actually he's not really, I wonder what this guy would look like under Ilima. But the biggest one though is that they're missing the EX normal zone setter. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take for us to actually get that, considering it's normal, and they've never really been too crazy on trying to hype up normal as a type. They kind of half-assed it a little bit with like Palmer back during the 4th anniversary, and then tried to do a little bit more with like Larry here, and then they kind of just proceeded to give up for the most part in trying to make normal good. I don't really know what their whole idea with that was, but there are some partners you can definitely run with Gladion, like Ilima, Holiday, Jim Whitney as like a support. Larry's a very good one, especially because he can also set normal zone on the Super Awakening. Palmer's not a bad one, just of course Palmer still has his issues with his damage being severely lower just because of how Crush Grip works, stuff like that, right? So if we get some more cohesive normal type supports, or like characters that can directly benefit Gladion a little bit more, and also the EX normal zone setter or arc suit, whatever you want to, whichever one, honestly, or both, preferably. It's gonna be, we can have a fun time with this guy. Unless the normal arc suit just ends up being Arceus, and it probably won't even have anything to do with normal. It'll probably just be like all types or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's Gladion's base kit. I don't think Gladion's very crazy. He's definitely not crazy in base. I mean, like, yeah, 50% multiplier here is good, and 90% multiplier here is good, but despite his pretty good, definitely his good offensive stats and just stats in general, and his good damaging moves, it's not really enough. I mean, we've seen characters with similar results like do decent damage, but not be that crazy. But obviously, it's a 1 out of 5 sync pair. You're not looking at their full kit. So let's actually take a look at what he's got here. 1 out of 5, he's got Dauntless. Nothing crazy, but it is there for those debuffing stages. 2 out of 5 gets Recover, NPR, and Master Healer. The problem with that is, well, this. Master Healer is never going to be able to be made of good use because you drop below half, you use your Recover, and you're going to... I wonder, actually... If you... Okay, if you... No, it probably wouldn't work. If you tap on Recover as you're dropping below half, would it heal you? And then also you would... It'd probably just take the MP, wouldn't it? It'd probably just take double MP, but what if you only have 1 MP left? Would you heal up off of the 50% drop and then heal another one, effectively giving you 3 MP? It's just something to think about, maybe. But either way, I don't see much use in these in these tiles. Master Healer especially so, because anytime you drop below half, you're going to heal up anyway. So you're going to proc that heal, and then you're going to have less than 50% HP left to heal, so the Master Healer doesn't do anything. I guess it's good for the stadium stage where you have half healing, but that's a very niche example and very no one cares. Let's just put it like that. No one cares. So not whatever, sure, I guess. NPR could be good in the legendary arenas as long as you don't let them drop below half before using Recover, but Master Healer is so fundamentally useless, I feel. Maybe I'm wrong, though. I don't know. Anyway, he's also got Churn of NPR, which this can be used for some more sync countdown and to max out his special attack. Could be nice. And some gauge refresh on his buddy move if you do need it. He is pretty gauge heavy, but he also does give himself free moves next after using the buddy move, so I feel like it's better to have it on regular Hyper Beam, which he does have here. He also has combo free before on Hyper Beam. I think this could be a good tile to pick up, honestly. Extra 50% chance of getting free moves next. That's going to be very helpful for his gauge, on top of the gauge refresh here. So I would honestly... I'm not saying I would 2 out of 5 just to pick this up, but if you do have him at 2 out of 5, this is definitely not a bad tile to pick up. I could definitely see some good use in this. And he's also got Gobsmack on Hyper Beam for those stages that need like Confusion or any status condition. Again, we kind of want to maybe talk about like the Paseo Tower. If you can proc a Gobsmack with Hyper Beam here, well, that's going to allow the enemy to get hit. But the problem with that, Gobsmack, Confusion does not last forever, and then they'll gain Resilience, and then you're back to doing no damage. So I'm not sure how much of a major impact this will have, but it is, I guess, at least there. It'll force have some impact in Legendary Arenas and stuff as well. And then training with Catalytic Kick, getting some gauge acceleration whenever their move is successful. That's not bad. I mean, more gauge stuff. I honestly will take some gauge stuff for this character at 2 out of 5 over a lot of other things. So very gauge heavy 2 out of 5. So overall, honestly, not that bad. At least not to me. 3 out of 5, though, he gets some sync tiles. Sync moves, special moves up next, plus by 2. Cool. Opponent special defense down, sync moves up by 50%. Hyper Beam hit, special defense down 9. Also a Hyper Beam plus 50 power tile here. Super effective interference, 1 of a kind. We'll go over that in a bit. Super duper effective 3, Furious Brain, and Train of Ramp Up. Okay. So first of all, going over Train of Ramp Up, plus 6 special attack, I would personally just pick up the NPR if you can afford it easier. But you're probably going to be picking up Furious Brain, and this is probably going to just be closer, or this is going to be closer, so you might just want to pick this up anyway if you do want it, but also just bring a character that can max out special attack, if at all possible. Hell, if can Whitney do it? Can she buff special attack by, like, literally any means? I don't think so. Wow. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. Okay, sure. Maybe it could be a little bit helpful then. You know, because that's plus 2 special attack could make a little bit of a difference. A decent bit of a difference, especially if stages start debuffing, right? I always hate these characters that only do plus 4 special attack. It requires you to run a support. In the Paseo Tower, I think that's not that great. Granted, no, if you're running a lane... If you're running a lane, it's not a big deal, because doesn't she buff offenses? I could have swore lane buffed offenses in some way. Yeah, right here. Okay, I wasn't crazy. Yeah, so she can buff offenses. Running a lane as a support's not that big of an issue if you can grid her appropriately for it. Furious Brain, I mean, this is the multipliers we're wanting on Hyper Beam and the Buddy Hyper Beam, especially this one. Getting a multiplier for this is really good. And on top of that, super duper effective 3. That's another 30% multiplier because this move is going to be guaranteeing to hit super effective for whatever enemy you're currently targeting. And if they're all enemies are the same type, then well, it's payday, right? I do like I said earlier that I'm not really too big on this guy, just like because a striker tends to be replaceable. I'd say out, mm, not outside of Paseo Tower, but I do like the big usage of this guy in the fact that you can bring him to pretty much any ultimate battle, and he's gonna be able to dominate, mostly because of that buddy move. Like, and you can build around it too. It's mostly under the case, like, do you want to build around it? Because you take a banana belt, bring a rain setter, and well, he's gonna have that buff under rain for this buddy move, right? You bring him into Noland, and you bring like a flying zone setter, he's gonna be able to hit some very good damage because of flying type, like for flying weakness, right? Like Ingo and Emmett, I think they're different types, but you can Steel or Fairy, whichever. Is it Steel and Fairy? I really don't remember, honestly. But regardless, whatever. You hit those types, there you go. Cooking a little bit with this guy, especially if you're bringing those characters that have the zone or whatever else, or like other characters of the type that the enemies are weak to. So like this guy can make a lot of ultimate battles easier just because he's got the ability to do unconditional super effective damage. Again, like a more modernized version of his base self who could do super effective damage, but it wasn't AoE, and he was also pretty undertuned. This guy is not really undertuned. He just only does super effective damage on one of his moves, but even then, his off-type damage is definitely not going to be too bad, especially because, good segue, he's got special defense debuffs, which will then in turn be increasing this and the damage he's got overall, and any damage of your special attacking allies. So that special defense down on Hyper Beam is going to be pretty helpful. I do like that. And in turn, that gives him a 50% extra multiplier on his sync move. So if you do use Gladion's sync move, which I can say there's good enough reason to use that in a normal only team. Outside of that, maybe not really, unless he is like you're literally your only damage dealer on the team and the rest of your characters are supports or utility. Then of course, maybe running his nuke would be good, but for the most part, outside of those normal centric teams, I would say you're probably not going to sync with him, but I could also be wrong. Build your characters and play them how you want. It's also got super effective interference, one of a kind 9, which is guaranteed flinch, confusion, or trap when attacking an enemy against with their move that is super effective. This could be helpful again in the same case of Gobsmack, where you can hit an enemy, apply a status change to them, and that also is getting rid of some different gimmicks and stuff like that, like in the Paseo Tower, Legendary Arenas, some Ultimate Battles. Have those different gimmicks where you're gonna need like a status change, right? And this could kind of help out a little bit with that. Again, though, same problem. Trap doesn't last forever. Trap is the longest lasting, I believe, of all status changes, but it does not last forever. Confusion doesn't either, and Flinch is 2.5 seconds and it's gone, right? Mostly depends on the stage, but relatively accurate. So take that for what it is. It's way worse. It's significantly worse than things like rebuff or like an actual status condition, which mostly in regards to poison and paralysis lasts pretty much until the enemy neutralizes them themselves. 2 sync tiles to help out with that extra sync damage, and then also a Hyper Beam plus 50 power node. I mean, that's nearly 300 power there on Hyper Beam. I mean, that's going to be pretty impactful for his damage, I would imagine. It's right there too. It's already by another Hyper Beam power tile, a special attack power tile, or +6, +5 special attack tile, whatever. So you're probably going to want to actually pick this up anyway. I mean, it's already down there. And on top of that, you've got Sync Move Special Boost 2, giving you +2 special moves up next after using Gladion's Sync Move, which of course can immediately be chained into his Buddy Hyper Beam, which will then obviously have a lot of extra damage on it, but you will also be getting another +2 special moves up next after that can then go into Hyper Beam, and well, you're chaining some special moves up next with Gladion, and that's not even including whatever your supports are bringing, like, Elaine buffs moves up next, I'm pretty sure. Yes, she does. Core part of her kit back in the day. And also like Holiday Whitney, not Holiday. I keep saying Holiday for some reason. Jim Whitney is able to also buff special and physical moves up next, but the physical ones are what Gladion wants because of her Johto Circle setting ability, right? There's a few other characters, I believe, for the normal typing that can do that, but those are 2 of the big ones I can think off the top of my head. And then, of course, any other typing, you'll bring your Costume Rosa or your Signitude Giovanni or whatever. Not let's say Costume Rosa. I meant Neo Champion, but those characters that can buff moves up next can be very good for Gladion as well. Just extra moves up next stacks. So overall, I mean, I like the build of Gladion. I do like what they're going for with him. Making his damage super effective here is definitely helpful. If it was not super effective and it was just kind of as is with like maybe an extra +50 power tacked on, he would definitely not be bad, I would say, but he would definitely be significantly worse overall in damage performance, because that super effectiveness is very, very good because it's universal across all stages. It's just a straight up free massive multiplier against any enemy you hit that you pretty much have to do nothing for. So that's the big thing about it that I do like, but I also do not like that you're going to potentially need to run a character of the same type of weather trainer zone in order to actually provide that extra 50% or 300%. Yeah, 300% buff, depending on if you are running them inside or outside of EX zone. So, and then on top of that, also the normal not having its EX zone setter or its arc suit yet, and probably not having either of those, frankly, for a while. I would imagine. At least the arc suit, I don't think normal's going to get for a while. EX weather train zone or EX normal zone is a bit more up in the air. That's also a little bit of a dampening, I guess, for this guy. But as it stands right now, he's just the best normal striker in the game. So if you're trying to do like high rankings on the Passio Tower and you need a good normal attacker, well, you're probably gonna just want to run this guy no matter what. Run regular Gladion for the physical only stages. Run this guy for the special only stages, and maybe you can cook. We'll have to see though. Anyway, that's my overall thoughts though on Academy Gladion. Let me know what you all think about him down in the comments below. I'm all over the place today. I actually have been losing it, I think. I don't know what's been up. But anyway, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and end the video there. I'll see you later. Hope you all enjoyed. Peace.